What's going on YouTube? Finn from Team Gins here. Today we're here to talk about the Herald Agent deck. Just do a little discussion about it, how the deck works. It's a totally underrated deck. Without further ado, here we go. If you're running a Herald Agent deck, you gotta run 3 Herald of Perfection. As far as ritual monsters go, this guy is definitely among the elite. When you think about some of the old ritual monsters they used to give us when ritual monsters first came out, like Hungry Burger and the Performance of Sword, like stuff like that. It was just a special summon that you got an extra summon and everything, but it wasn't worth it because it didn't have any extra effects, and their attacks were only like 2,000 or 1,900 or something like that. Herald of Perfection has 2,800 defense, which is a great wall to get over. Not to mention his effect basically negates anything, and all you have to do is discard a fairy. Um, Not to mention, in that 2,800 wall, it really does. It is very hard to get over, especially if I get to something later. Um, Next up, 3 Master Hyperion. You gotta run 3. Master Hyperion is incredibly broken, and to be honest, I thought that he was gonna get limited, not the Agent of Mystery Earth. He's ridiculous. He's so easy to get out. He's so easy to get out first turn. It's crazy. Um, Basically, once he's out on the field, he's going to stay there for a while. He can remove a fairy from the graveyard and destroy any card on the field. So it's a fantastic card, and he's got a 2,700 attack, which is tough to get over. Next up is Archlord Christia. You got to run 2. I wouldn't run 1. There's like rumors going around that she's getting pushed back up to 3, but to be honest, I wouldn't probably run her at 3. 2 is just fine because once she gets on the field, she kind of stays on the field. So basically, the main engine of the deck is get out Herald, discard to the graveyard to negate stuff, get out Hyperion, use that graveyard fodder for blowing up the field, and then at the same time regulating your graveyard to get out Archlord Christia. And once these 3 are out on the field, it's basically a late game right there, guys. Next on to the rest of the deck. First, the agent lineup. We have 1 Agent of Mystery Earth. It did hurt the deck to an extent. I think more or less it hurt agent decks, like complete agent decks, full agent decks, which would go basically first turn Hyperion every turn to every game because they would play Sanctuary in the Sky and then summon Agent of Mystery Earth, get Hyperion onto the hand, and then summon him first turn. Agent of Mystery Earth at 1 though is fine. She's a tuner. You don't really use that too much in this deck, but it's still, a great card. You can search out any of the other agents, which is a great effect. Next up, the Agent of Miracles Jupiter. I actually really like this guy. A lot of people only run 1. I run 2. He's an 1,800 beater. That effect does come in handy, where he can summon stuff that has been removed from play, and he can give like Fairy 800 more attack until the end phase, which is a brilliant effect, really. Not to mention, he's just another agent to get a Hyperion out with. So I would definitely run 2 Jupiter, even if you don't end up using his effect. He's a great beater. Next up, 2 Agent of Creation Venus. I know a lot of people that run 3. Personally, I just don't like it at 3. I draw it too much. If you go first turn, Creation, and bring out 2 Shine Ball, that means you only have 1 Shine Ball left in your deck. If you draw it like mid-game, that's fine. You can make an instant Gachi, which is still an amazing play. But I don't know, even with the Pot of Avarice, and even if you do play Dark Factory Mass Production, I just don't like Creation at 2. I don't like drawing it too much. Alright, next up, 3 Mystical Shine Ball. That goes without saying. It's very necessary. 2 Herald of Orange Light. Usually, I would say in any other deck, I would say use Effect Veilers, but if you can use Herald of Orange Light, Herald of Orange Light is so much better. It not only does it negate it, it destroys it too. It's also a tuner, like Effect Veiler, but I don't know, like Effect Veiler goes into more decks, but Herald of Orange Light overall is a better card, but it just doesn't work in all decks, not like Effect Veiler. 3 Manju of 10,000 Hands basically gets you whatever ritual card you need to your hand, which is exactly what you need in this deck to get out the Herald as quickly as possible. Honest, basically every card is a target in this deck. Every card you're running is a light monster. 2 Giant Katema Megane and 1 Spirit of the Harp for advanced ritual art. Not to mention, Spirit of the Harp, she does come in handy if you draw her first turn with nothing else. You can just serve as a wall until Herald of Perfection is easy to get out. Two Preparation of Rites. I'm only running two. I know people run three sometimes. I'm just testing this out right now, actually. I do like it. I do love this card. It's so it gets back the Herald. It gets back all. It gets back your ritual cards, so you can use them over again. That's why you only run two. Preparation of Rites overall is such a great card. Next up, only one Dawn of the Herald and obviously one Advanced Ritual Art. Um, I do run the one ritual weapon just because it makes the Herald harder to get over, but I'm so iffy about this card because if you draw this like late game, there's nothing you can do with it. Even if you don't have the Herald on the field, this is like the worst card that you can possibly pull late game. Just like, oh, I need something to get out of this situation. You draw a ritual weapon, then it's basically time to scoop your cards. Next up, two MST, one Smashing Ground. One Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice in this deck is ridiculously good. Gets your Shine Balls back, gets your Herald of Perfections back if you need them. Basically gets everything. This deck goes very fast, and you're going to be sending a lot of cards to the graveyard with the Herald effect and Orange Lights effect, so Pot of Avarice is definitely a card that you're going to need. And then Dark Hole, Book of Moon, Monster Reborn. I'm even iffy about Dark Hole in this field, just in this deck, because you're going to want the Herald on the field for as long as possible. And then basically for the traps, I just run the Solemn Brigade because Herald of Perfection takes care of so much in this deck. Now I'm just going to talk about a few tech cards that you could possibly put in here as well. One is Dark Factory Mass Production. I like it, but not enough to run it. Maybe I would side it in sometimes, but you gotta remember that the only real reason you would need this is to get your Shine Balls back. Um, you wouldn't use it to get the other vanillas back because they go right to the hand, and then you really can't use them for advanced ritual art. So I don't know. I wouldn't use Dark Factory Mass Production that much, but I know plenty of people that do. Cards from the Sky is a card that I think that this deck really works well with. To be honest, I don't like Pot of Duality in here. The deck is very fast as it is. I don't really need the Pot of Duality, but sometimes Cards from the Sky just comes in handy. Especially, I mean, you can't use your battle phase that turn, but whatever you banish with it, you can get back with Agent of Miracles Jupiter. So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Beckoning Light is a card that I've thought about from time to time, just to refuel your hand for the Herald of Perfection and the Herald of Orange Light. Reuse them over again. But I don't know if I would ever run it. And finally, the only other card that I've ever thought about is Bottomless, just because, just in case anything ever did happen to the Herald, you know, if you didn't have Ritual Weapon, it has 2,800 attack, but your opponent still can drop BLS and stuff like that and run over it. The only thing that you would really have against that is maybe Bottomless. Even if you do run the Solemn Brigade, it's just extra defense. Well, that's the deck overall, guys. I want you to tell me what you think about it down below. I will talk to you later, you two.